It's 2025, and somehow millions of people in the West still believe China is a backward country filled with peasants, dusty villages, and gray factories, all ruled under some brutal iron-fisted regime. That's the image they've been sold for years. 1.4 billion people toiling in poverty, making your iPhone for $2 a day under military surveillance. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That version of China doesn't exist anymore. While you were busy laughing at state propaganda memes, China was busy building high-speed rail networks, AI-powered cities, and mega projects that make Western infrastructure look like a joke. China's cities are clean, beautiful, and high-tech, and the people have experienced the largest poverty reduction movement in history. And now, the world's second-largest economy isn't catching up. It's long since left the West in the dust. The only reason you haven't noticed? They've done everything possible to keep you blind. Before we get to the video, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. Former Singaporean diplomat Kishore Mahbubani warned this would happen. The West has had a monopoly on modernization. Now that China's modernizing too, the West suddenly feels threatened. And he's right. China didn't just follow the West's blueprint. It threw it out, rewrote it, and started building at a speed the West literally can't match. Let's start with a fact that shatters illusions. China is already the #1 trading partner for over 140 countries. The US, barely half that. From Africa to Southeast Asia to Latin America, countries are pivoting to China because it delivers. Fast, concrete, no strings attached. While the West sends lectures and debt traps, China sends engineers and cranes. If you think trade doesn't matter, think again. He who controls trade controls power, and China is already in control. So what exactly is the West hiding from you? Let's begin with infrastructure, the part of civilization you can't fake. China's high-speed rail network is unmatched. Over 42,000 kilometers of track and counting. Trains like the Hangzhou travel up to 350 kilometers per hour, and they arrive to the second. In the same amount of time the US argued about California's rail project, China built a nationwide high-speed grid. In fact, China built the longest high-speed rail line on Earth, from Beijing to Hong Kong in under a decade. Meanwhile, Amtrak still breaks down in the snow. Elon Musk, love him or hate him, said it best. China is more advanced than people think. Their infrastructure is like science fiction. That's coming from a man who's building rockets and tunnels. He's not guessing, he's been there. Now let's talk about the cities the media hides from you. You've been shown smog and back alleys. But walk through Shenzhen, Hangzhou, or Suzhou, and you'll think you landed in 2050. We're talking about cashless economies, AI-run traffic systems, fully electric bus fleets, facial recognition entry gates, drone delivery trials, and 5G towers on every block. In Hangzhou, Alibaba's city brain uses big data and artificial intelligence to manage traffic, reducing congestion by up to 15% without adding a single road. In the United States, they spend billions on consultants and still get stuck in gridlock. Even second-tier cities like Chengdu, Wuhan, and Xiamen are becoming clean tech havens, with dedicated green belts, smart energy grids, and vertical farming. The United States? You're lucky if your city gets a bike lane and working public transport in the same decade. This is why Apple CEO Tim Cook said in 2022, China has become an innovation hub. The talent, the scale, and the speed are unparalleled. He wasn't being polite, he was being honest. Apple manufactures in China not because it's cheap, but because it's the best. Still think China's just good at copying? The West can't even copy China's success. Why? Because they're stuck in dysfunction. In the time it took the United Kingdom to debate London's Crossrail project, which was delayed nearly a decade, China built 26 new airports and thousands of miles of metro lines. The West runs on red tape, China runs on results. Let's expand on those airports. Beijing-Daxing, completed in under 5 years, is now one of the largest and most efficient airports in the world. Its design, created by Zaha Hadid architects, is not just aesthetic, it's operational genius. Compare that to LAX or JFK, where you're dodging water leaks and praying your gate hasn't moved again. Meanwhile, back in America, over 45,000 bridges are rated structurally deficient. Power grids are fragile, trains are stuck in the past, and every infrastructure bill turns into a political food fight. But here's the kicker. China did all this while lifting 800 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction in human history. Rural electrification, road access, healthcare, education, jobs, it wasn't charity, it was long-term planning. That's why even former World Bank President Jim Yong Kim said, "No other country in history has lifted as many people out of poverty in such a short time as China has." And let's not forget global influence through infrastructure, the Belt and Road Initiative. It's the largest development project of the 21st century. China is building railways in Kenya, ports in Sri Lanka, highways in Pakistan, fiber optic cables in the Balkans. They're stitching together a global logistics empire, while the West is still debating who gets to host the next climate summit. Shipping? China runs 7 of the world's top 10 busiest ports, with Shanghai leading the way. Fully automated, lightning fast, and synced with inland rail to move goods across the continent. The US? LA and Long Beach backed up for weeks, arguing about dock labor. China loads a container in 3 minutes. The West, still filing the paperwork. And here's a part nobody talks about: clean energy infrastructure. China is leading the world in solar, wind, hydro, and electric vehicle production. Over 50% of the world's electric vehicles are sold in China. They install more solar power annually than the next 10 countries combined. They're not just building the future, they're building a sustainable future. The West? Still fighting about whether climate change is real. And while we're talking future tech, don't sleep on digital finance. China is leagues ahead in mobile payments. In 2024, over 90% of transactions in major cities happen via smartphone. WeChat Pay, Alipay, you name it. In contrast, Americans are still writing checks and Europeans are fumbling with chip and PIN. In China, vending machines, taxis, street food vendors, even beggars take QR code payments. That's how deeply integrated the system is. You'll never hear this in Western media. Instead, you get headlines like China's economic slowdown, or ghost cities, or debt-trap diplomacy. But when was the last time you saw CNN or the BBC do a special on Chengdu's smart city AI grid, or the green skyscrapers of Nanjing, or the 5G-powered robotics parks in Hefei? You won't, because it breaks the narrative. And what's the narrative? China's authoritarian, China censors, China's dangerous. But here's the reality. China builds, the West delays. Even Henry Kissinger, one of the West's sharpest geopolitical minds, once said, "The Chinese are not emotional. They are patient. They think in centuries." That one quote explains it all. While Western democracies chase 4-year election cycles and media headlines, China builds 40-year master plans. The results speak for themselves. So let's stop pretending. Let's stop underestimating. China is not a future threat. It's a present-day superpower, with the infrastructure, economy, and influence to back it up. And yet somehow, in 2025, Western countries still try to lecture China from a place of imagined superiority, as if they're the wise old empire guiding some unruly upstart. They issue statements, scoldings, and warnings like it's still 1990, completely blind to the fact that China has already surpassed them in almost every meaningful way. Economically, China is now the largest real economy on Earth by purchasing power. Militarily, they've built the largest navy in the world, and their domestic defense production is self-reliant and scaling fast. Infrastructure, not even close. Global trade, China is the top trading partner for more countries than the United States and European Union combined. And influence? Every year, more of the world turns east, not because they're forced to, but because China delivers, while the West drags its feet. So where does this Western superiority complex even come from? It's not based on reality, it's based on delusion, a hangover from a past that no longer exists. These nations are clinging to outdated myths, projecting power they no longer have, and convincing their own citizens that the world is still unipolar. It's not. China doesn't need to be told what to do anymore. It's setting the pace. And the only reason Western elites still act like they're in control is because they've been brainwashed by their own lies, too scared to face the truth that the balance of power has already shifted, and they're not on top of it. And the only thing more dangerous than ignoring it is continuing to lie about it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more